Hello to anyone who's watching this. You're watching a game that was arranged through the Gauntlet, which if you're this is the first video you're watching of this series, I'll implore you to go to the first one since this is three of four. But in case you could click it for whatever reason, we'll just still give you the pitch and that the Gauntlet is a community on the internet that gets together and plays tabletop role playing games online, mostly of the indie persuasions, so stuff like PBTA, belonging outside belonging, all sorts of weird and cool, interesting stuff. GMless games, diceless games, much like this one that we're playing. I can find all the stuff the Gauntlet does at gauntlet-rpg.com, which includes blogs, forums, podcasts, zines, published games, even like short mini cons. Like there's the Gauntlet Community Open Gaming. That's like happening soon, the end of June, specifically the 24th to the 27th. That reminds me, I should put up some games for that. That's a reminder for myself. If it's recorded, it means I'm going to do it. Clearly, that's just how it happens. There's also Gauntlet Calendar, that where this game and many others were arranged. This is like part of a monthly series that myself have been doing on the Gauntlet, looking at different cyberpunk games called Future Creep. And this game we're looking at is one of the most intriguing ones, especially that came out quite recently. We are in our third session of looking at Balikbayan by Jamila Najadi of Sword Queen Games, who folks might remember from games such as Apocalypse Keys, Oathbreakers, Once More Into the Void, which is currently in Kickstarter. All sorts of cool things. Balikbayan is their take on cyberpunk, diaspora, um, magical elements eaten up by a dystopic, um, corrupt cyberpunk city, all within the framework of belonging outside belonging, taken from Dream Askew slash Dream Apart by Avery Alder and Brand Rosenbaum, which means no dice, no masters. Well, except for this version of Budding Band, which does have a GM, which is me. Hi. My name's Leandro. Use he, him pronouns. Let's go kind of like right to left on the sheet and kind of just introduce ourselves and our characters. Um, so yeah, let's go right to left. And Mario, why don't we start with yourself?
Hello, my name is Mario, and I'm going to play a Mother Sleep. Mother Sleep is the San Telmo of the group, and just like at least two of the three other people in this group, she's a creep. That's what we found out last session. We're basically all creeps. How Mother Sleep became a creep is she's got this super odd, maybe strange, maybe weird habit of um, like becoming the faces of dead loved ones of those she speaks with. Um, and apart from that, she's all into future cyber emo stuff. She's into sadness. She's into speaking with dead people, and most of all, she's into like finding a way to bridge this world with Sulat, which is the realm of the dead. So for them, it's like it sounds like a good idea, but it the more we play, the more it looks like it's an actual real bad idea. So we're gonna see where that's ending.
What
Um,
are you talking about? It sounds like a good idea. So good that the corp beat you to it.
yes. Well, we don't know really that the corp is behind all this by now. So,
Yeah,
yes.
that is true. There's just a void in Sulan. Who knows how that got there?
Yeah. Um and we'll see what it actually means for all the deaf people. Yeah, there's a lot to find out. Yeah.
Mhm. Um, sorry, I sent someone a message. We keep going and yeah, go to yourself, Donna.
Yeah, hi. My name is Donna. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm playing Euphoric Fear, the Aswan, she, they, and known to Euphoria, or known as Euphoria, or Fee to her friends, which are few and far between. Um, yeah, I think as an Aswan, Euphoria is, hungry for blood and fear, and that seems to be in abundance in this lovely future we have created. And in those regards, she can resist anything except temptation. And I think everyone nearby kind of fears and maybe is drawn to her like a moth to a flame in terms of how they approach her. Um, I think previously she was hoping to fall in love for the first time, but I think a conversation with Sky knocked that completely out of her. So, maybe we see a meaner, leaner, if you think that's possible, Euphoria this week.
Yeah. We opened with Euphoria just straight up like strangling someone, and then went on to kill a bunch more folks.
Yeah,
Leaner version of that is okay. All right, we'll see how we get there.
I mean, I would say maybe her propensity to mellow has been abated. Let's put it that way.
Okay, okay. So, so no soft, tender conversations about emotions. Okay, cool, beautiful. Surely we'll get a lot of those in our next player, for our next character. Stephen, would you kindly introduce yourself and your character?
Hello there. I'm playing Stephen he him, and I am Stephen he him, and I am playing Quest she her, uh, the burning sword by which this the heart of the city shall be purified. Uh, I I am the saint, and so I deal a lot with the kind of divine and faith in the city. I Last session I had just uh I had just gone to meet with another San Elmo, uh try to have an emotional conversation with her, and she sicked a bunch of faceless guys on me. So that went well. I mean, I insulted her a lot, but I got some pretty good lines in, so.
That's the most important part. Cool. We'll see how we get out of that. But last but not least, Bodhi, why don't you introduce yourself and your character?
So I'm Bodhi. I use they them pronouns, and I'm playing Encircling Sky, or Sky for short, who also uses they them pronouns. And Sky is the Duato of the group. And Duato is kind of most directly an elemental, as in the kind of four classical elements, kind of fire, wind, water, earth. And in particular, Sky is a forest spirit, kind of the kind of balancing and controlling spirit of an entire forest, who was plucked out of said forest by the corp and placed in a simulacrum of a forest that was actually Sky managing the corporate network. And now Sky is back in the real world and wants to rebuild and revive the dying forest. And being a kind of a spirit kind of encompassing and used to encompassing an entire forest is not that that conversant with normal human emotions, and therefore had quite an unintentionally disastrous conversation with Euphoria last session, as Donna mentioned. And that could have gone better.
Yeah. We'll pick up the pieces of what happened to Euphoria afterwards, and we'll catch up with Sky probably momentarily. There's a lot to catch up. We all kind of left each character in their own emotional hellscape, so to speak. We'll see if we can climb out of them. Before we do that, I do want to talk about the safety tools that we're using today. First and foremost, we talked about this off camera, but hold on, give me a second. Sorry about that. But yes, off video, we talked about lines and veils that we have. I'll also remind folks that we're using several commands from script change, which we do have in the safety tab. For those who don't know, script change is a set of tools, set of commands to basically help just control the game and help just kind of make sure we're all on the same page. One of those tools is pause, where we can pause the game at any moment to just check in with everyone with something. And it's also can be used in conjunction with other commands such as fast forward, where we can just move forward into the next scene. We don't have to linger in the moment. Or rewind, it can be called, where folks can call for a change or retcon to something that happened, maybe because of certain issues, such as maybe name or tone. You don't have to explain. For rewind is called. We'll respect it. There's also a stop, which is can be used to call for a break. We're kind of using an open door policy here, where folks can step away from the table at any moment for any reason, whether you're more tired than you thought, or there's an emergency you need to take care of, or you need a bio break of any kind. We can call for a pause, and we'll try to accommodate yourselves. The open door policy, I should mention, also extends to GMs. So let me take a sip. Yeah, we've got a lot of avenues to start off. I mean, we could start with Quest in the Market nightclub, silent disco full of faceless mooks. But I think we're gonna start with the scene that we said we pay off last week, which is Sky off to meet the last guardian. Are you okay with that, Bodhi? Or cool. Okay, so this friend of yours, or not friend, but I don't know if you're friends. You're bonded to them, but I don't know if, if you're friends. Can you tell me about this guardian?
So I was thinking, if it works for everyone, to avoid kind of everything getting spread too far apart, maybe this last guardian is one of the monks that we decided last week were, well, not monks, librarians. Sorry, another game. One of the renegade librarians guarding the last illegal library of the city in the market. And I'm thinking that kind of this is the last guardian of a dying forest. I imagine they're kind of a part-time guardian. I pluck a name out the air, Aiden, and he's.
I might veto that name. Aiden, is that what you said?
Yes. Yes.
Because we already have an Adrian and an Adric.
Ah, okay. Let's change it. Let's do something else. I just Googled the name generator.
It's better than the name that came up to my mind, which is Macbeth. We're not going to name them Macbeth.
Let's go with. Well, let's go with Gibson. Very cyberpunk appropriate name.
Yes.
And so I'm thinking that he's one of the older librarians, maybe kind of doesn't, not one of the most senior, but kind of like been there a long time, and just inherited guardianship of the forest, kind of like lots of other guardians in the line died, and like he's got it now, and it's not his main job, but he's doing the best he can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Where do you meet Gibson? Would it be near the market? Would it be at the library? Or maybe, or do the Guardians like not even let many people go there?
I'm thinking that they don't. Maybe Gibson does because Gibson knows who I am, but the librarians in general don't trust me enough yet to let me into the library. Maybe, ooh, maybe there's a place known as the reading room that if you want to get access to a book and you're kind of trusted by the librarians, but not enough to see the actual location of the library, you can kind of go there and request a book, and then kind of later, kind of they'll give you a time to come back, and the kind of like, I'm thinking it's just kind of a single table in a blank room, and you go in there, you leave a slip of paper on the table, and you come back, say, 24 hours later, and if they have it, the book's there. But I'm thinking that I've been meeting Gibson here. He's kind of pulled up another chair, so there's two chairs at this one table, and I'm trying to think of what I want to know from Gibson, kind of why I've arranged a meeting. I think.
I just say he's brought a cookbook along. I think you have to do your job when you're accessing this room. So technically, he still has to bring a book.
I think I'm leafing through this as we're kind of making initial pleasantries, because a book's a book. It's a rare thing to get to read a book nowadays, and I think actually it's Gibson that's called for meeting, and I think that there's some sort of encroachment on the forest, and I'm not reconnected with this forest yet, like, because I'm relatively new. Gibson's got a stronger connection with this particular forest than I do, and so he knows when something's going wrong with it and contacted me.
When was the last time you saw the forest sky?
Too bloody long. How's she doing?
She's growing slowly, but one thing the city has never appreciated is that nature takes time. Everything's always on the bloody go. How fast can you build a building? How fast can you print this picture? How fast can you get this up in the web? Forest takes time, but no one appreciates that. There's an abandoned factory at the edge of the market. It's meant to be derelict. In fact, I've made sure that it's considered derelict, but certain peoples have set up shop there. It's a place of access. It's a node where in due time the forest will bloom out. But of course, access goes both ways.
What do you need? What does the forest need?
The forest needs space and time, and I need those peoples gone.
As we both serve the forest, it will be done. Thank you for your guardianship. Thank you for keeping keeping her safe all the time when I've been gone.
I keep guardianship over her, but you know her better than most. Tell me, do you think I will live to see the forest bloom again? It's selfish of me to want that, I suppose. But I like to believe these efforts weren't for nothing.
It's like you said yourself, the forest takes time. I don't know. I don't know if you'll live to see it. But I hope that you will.
I think there's like a mournful kind of like silence as Gibson kind of considers that, and then he kind of like jabs a finger at the cookbook, and it stops at this like creme brulee recipe. Um, he says, "That's a favorite."
And I think I think that you can't put anything from these forbidden books on the web because they'll get found out. So I take out an actual, it's clear this is a rare object. I take out an actual piece of paper from my robes and an actual pen and kind of note down this recipe and say to Gibson, thank you. It's the forest, writing, cooking, real food. So much of the old ways of doing things are being snuffed out, but I'm glad there are people who keep them alive. And I pocket the recipe.
I think like the last thing like Gibson will kind of say, and we'll kind of wrap the scene up, is like again he kind of like leans forward with his finger still on the creme brulee, and it's like only share it with those you love because they deserve it the most.
I think I just give a nod as I walk out of the room.
Okay, so you're not gonna get the token for exploring the factory until you actually get there. Okay, so the thing is, like, I know where Quest is. I'm not sure where Euphoria Mother's Sleep is. We'll come back to the two of you. If you want to show up, and see, we'll just ask and see if that's okay. But let's come back to Quest. That's okay with you, Steven.
Yep.
Right.
See what
So,
happens.
yeah, let's reset the scene. You're with Sin, the quote unquote leader of the market. Saint Elmo's lost a connection to Sulad. You're here because you're looking for info on these cubes that are being passed around. Fairly dangerous bits of magic being given to punk ass street gangs. And the in this silent disco that she's going to be presiding, the disco goers were just dancing on headphones. Their faces have started to bend and mold into different faces again and again and again and again. And those were some of the folks that had given these cubes to Adric and his brother, whose name I've already forgotten, Rip. His name's not Rip. I'm just saying. His name is Mac. There we go, Mac. Um, yeah, I think that's kind of happening. Sin, as the faces are like morphing, Sin kind of is. I mean, we've established that Sin probably doesn't like you. We had quite a bit of banter. But yeah, what do you do when you see this happening?
Well, I think that yeah, I'm you know what? I'm actually gonna to do it as a weak move because I need the tokens.
Okay.
I am going to smite the wicked.
Whew. Can you read out
Activate
what's what?
ancient protocols of divine fury and activate forgotten satellites. Name your target. If you offer enough of yourself, the gods will awaken the fury of a dead heaven. The GM will tell you what god answers your call and what violence they will unleash. I think that I am naming these the Faceless as my target, and I'm wondering what god answers my call.
Yeah. The fury of a dead heaven. That's beautiful and disgusting. For as long as the protocols remain stable and your heart is strong, you have control of the god. No, you went for the use your elemental magic to great consequences. Yeah, I think my mind is just going for straight up. My mind is going for like the most generic kind of divine furies. I don't want to go with that. I think it is Dead Heavens. Jesus, that's just beautiful imagery. I think it is something fiery. Let's say.
Yeah, I did
Go ahead.
name a character Lahat Chereb during
Ooh,
the first session if you wanted to pull them in.
yeah, the Hatshepsut, the flaming sword, a military satellite quest is parlayed with. Yeah, I think okay. Instead of fire, I think like laser sights pierce through the roof and kind of like this is like this is a god in like in the not in a theological sense, but in a I guess more Gaiman-esque American gods kind of way, as these kind of like laser sights kind of point down on this place. And here are the consequences. The thing with military satellites, these kind of, Reagan-esque Star Warsian strategic defense initiative bullshit lasers, is that they were kind of built, and feel free to veto this once this is kind of your satellite. They kind of they're kind of an all or nothing kind of thing. So there's like a small beam of light that's kind of like pierces through the ceiling, and then the beam widens. It's this brilliant white blue, incredibly hot laser. And Sin kind of like stands up and it's just like, what have you done? As the laser starts to expand and it starts to kind of like incinerate these faceless men.
I
um
have called one of my chained children to me. And I am also describing how I'm intimately connected to one of the enslaved.
Oh, yes. I think like Sin almost has to laugh at the sheer destruction. I think we're the ground around you is like shaking from the force as the laser expands, incinerating these faceless people before they can even respond.
I grab Sin by the throat and hold her here and look at her and say, I will allow us both to burn before unless you give me an answer. Sin. Where are they coming from? My flesh has burnt many times before, but has yours?
I think gosh, Sin had like one or two pithy one-liners, but they're gone now because you're choking them.
I'm not choking her. I'm just grabbing her by the throat, making certain she can't run from this laser if it's going to destroy us both.
Yeah. I was gonna say, if you have children this powerful, you should be wary they might overthrow you, but seems you're asking for it. They The faceless men came for me because I was left wanting by the world. That's all you have to do to draw them out. Purge yourself of what you have and just want. Just as hard as you can. I think she's almost kind of crying as the laser keeps expanding and it's gonna come near you.
I think that I think that I will. Yeah, I decide that I look down at Sin. I look at Sin in my hands, and I think I. Sorry. One sec. No. Okay. I look down at Sin, and yeah, I think that I. I think that I say, I've not encountered such divinities before. Come. It's not good that one of that I allow even a fallen member of our kind to die here. And I think I actually punch her and toss her over her shoulder and carry her out.
You're not the only one who's getting out of this nightclub.
Yeah,
I think,
that's fair.
Yeah, I think the laser fire is just gonna center in the dance floor, so it's not gonna expand actually further than that. But when you come out, you see again this brilliant white beam from the sky, just boring a hole kind of through this nightclub, and everyone is just kind of like ran for a safe distance. Everyone in the city can see this. That includes all the other player characters if you're outside or been looking out the window.
I was also angling to make a deal with someone dangerous by doing the whole look, you either tell me what I know or I let us both die here.
The thing is, like, Sin, you can tell it's not that dangerous.
I mean, she's the leader of the market.
Yeah, there are other threats out there. Well, okay, yes, I guess, yeah, she's the leader, but you kind of had her in the spot. Yeah, okay, I'll give you that token. Yeah.
Like, I didn't let her die, so like clearly she's probably going to try to murder me at some point.
Okay, all right. Well,
I'm just saying, Leanne.
I mean, if that's what you want. Okay. I want to know what Euphoria or Mother Sleep are doing as they kind of like see this laser beam from the sky just smash into the city. And it's perfectly fine if like you're in a spear in a place where you can't see it.
I've been thinking Euphoria is in the market looking for a prophet or an augmenter. Shopping around.
Do you want to do that scene maybe just right before the laser hits so you can get that augment done?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, what's Euphoria in the market for?
Well, this is the cyberpunk equivalent of moving on, because if I can get rid of the memory of she who will not be named out of my system, maybe I can move on, right? So maybe it's for the best.
Yeah. I think this probably like this memory merchant. Oh, there's a fail class for that. The mnemologist or something like that. They've got these glasses that has lens after lens after lens after lens, and they're kind of like just peering at you, and it's like you're looking to unload your burdens. I mean, you're looking to unload.
Yeah, there's someone in my head who apparently I'm wasting my time with, so I should just ditch it, right?
Well, you've come to the right place. First, I gotta ask some questions to make sure this is a clean wipe. Is this person dead?
Yes.
Good, good. There's a because usually when the person's alive, there's a not insignificant chance that one might run into this person. Because what I'm offering is just deletion of your burdens, not the deletion of the person. You talk to other people for that. But me unloading your burdens doesn't unload their burdens, so there could be feedback. But if they're dead, that means then there won't be. Then that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I've been assured that they're not burdened with memories of me. So.
Okay. Um,
Sorry, Bodhi.
yeah. Yeah. So I think like wonder what this looks like. Is it literally just tinkering with your head, maybe? Or what do you think this looks like?
I mean, I have to imagine. I mean, because I guess I'm playing on two things here, right? The prophets of the street corners that replace memories with faith, and also a change in aspect of mind, body, and soul with a new augment. So I think, like what it looks like is, I don't know, maybe there's some kind of implant that draws the memories out because that means the memories are with this prophet now, which is very interesting. Let them decipher with and play with those to their heart's content. But maybe it's replacing a part of her brain with some specific augment. You know, it's like an amygdala enhancer or something. I don't know.
Yeah, kind of like filters.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's not that. Yeah. So maybe like part of her soul is being replaced with this kind of machine-like cold logic for something physical
Yeah.
or something combative or something. So it's not like so it's swapping out like a warm and fuzzy memory, or maybe a no longer warm and fuzzy memory for something a bit colder.
Yeah. I think so. I'm gonna take that token. I think we'll get a shot like Euphoria, kind of sitting on this like maybe like kind of therapist chair, so lying on her back, looking upwards as this prophet kind of like directs like kind of like a TV screen to like your face and like, okay, so we've made the installations. It's just the thing is filling in the gaps. That's usually done. People fill in the gaps every time. Just breathe and perceive, but retroactively filling the gaps. Well, that's gonna take a bit more time. So, you're gonna let your mind percolate, and and just integrate the lack with something else. And well, we here believe that one creates their own faith, their own personal Jesus, so to speak. Um, and this process will help you with that. They turn on the TV and I think it's just static for the moment. I'm sure something will show up.
Yeah, maybe there's something kind of bizarrely kind of techno magical about it. So like the memories that they're excising out of Euphoria's brain somehow get like shot up against the wall, and so like passing people can kind of glance at it and see a little bit of it, and maybe that's where the kind of dreamlike prophecy thing comes from.
Yeah, I think like you that's happening to Euphoria, kind of like all other senses kind of bleed away, but the prophet goes under, looks outside the building as this gigantic pillar of light. It's especially true, but I don't think Euphoria will notice that right now, unless no, I don't. I think it'd be grand. So yeah, take that token with the change in aspect of your mind as your memories with they who will not be named um um are slowly being excised. um I mean, we can do a whole Eternal Sunshine to spot this mind to see if that's what Euphoria actually wants, but we'll come back to that in a moment. I want to know what Mother Sleep was up to as this pillar of light smashes into the market.
She was standing in the midst of the market, just looking at random objects, trying to feel if one or the other is connected to somebody who's dead, to just if there's a vague spiritual presence here or like ghostly presence here, something I could further investigate. But then I realize something blinking in the sky, and it's not a shooting star. So I look up, and then I open my eyes wider than before, and then I open my mouth. And as my true person is something haunting and sad, I become a sort of a ghost myself, which means I become part of my body becomes translucent, and only my face keeps staying the same, with one little difference. My mouth becomes wider and wider and bigger and darker, and I'm spending a token here to open a temporary portal through Solad, and I'm gonna to absorb that laser beam into Solad. And maybe we already found our solution why there are holes in Solad.
Oh my! Oh wow! Okay. I think Quest, you're gonna see this if that's okay with you, or Mother Sleep, because your Quest was the closest to the laser, literally.
Yeah.
I think maybe Quest, you get like a small kind of like garbled transmission from Lahat. Um, um, just kind of the dead so as yeah, the ground stops shaking as this beam enters the realm of the dead. um yeah, and I think like it's quite, oh, go ahead.
I think I have a move for what's happening now, because this is Corp Tech after all, so it's made and meant to hurt elementals. So if fear is around, I'm going to ask you, how does my magic flicker and fade?
I think maybe let me know what you think. You know, when you know the laser, the giant orbital laser disappears into the underworld. I think part of that explosion into that place kind of reverberates or echoes into the real world, and so we see like ghosts kind of appear, and I think maybe in that like moment, like you've got a bit of, I don't know, retinal blindness from the orbital, and so you can't see them, you can't see the ghosts in this world for a while. And I think over time, like the sight returning to your eyes, you start to see them. So it's like a stare at the sun for too long kind of.
Yes. So I think the effect of that is that um, it it's sort of everything appears to be sort of blurry at the beginning. So um, I think my form is flickering, but then my body becomes more physical again. But I think I go down on one knee, and then I shake my head, just try to shake the dizziness off. But I can't really see straight, so I stumble forward and I crash into one of the market stands, and then it looks like if I'm drunk or something like that. So I start to stumble through the market, and I can't really. I need to adjust to the new side in which some layers just are missing. So it's more like right now I see more 2-dimensional than actually 3-dimensional, because like this extra layer is missing, and I have a hard time to orient myself in this busy place.
Yeah. I think like as you're kind of like stumbling through, I think as the laser has dissipated, as the satellite has kind of conked out, I think there's like this there's this moment of like breath intake amongst the market as kind of like everything calms down, and then suddenly there's almost kind of like this shiver as people suddenly start packing up, and around you, Mother Sleep, you can hear kind of like whispers. Actually, to all the three who are in the market, Sky, I'm going to assume you're close by since you headed towards the factory. I think there's like a tremor as you hear people just saying, "The corp is coming." And you hear like sirens kind of like in the distance, as look, there's a big ass military laser shot down from the sky. I think sirens. I think like to the three of you, to the four of you hear like a distinct like whoomp 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 sound of like these helicopters um coming in from the distance. We're gonna take a first break there since we've been here for like an hour. Let's come back in 10 minutes and see how y'all deal with the corp as they have shown up. Be back in 10. Okay. So marketplace is under threat by the core. So before I we're gonna see what the other three are doing. Let's circle back to Sky just like so we can place them here in the market. Like that conversation with Gibson could have happened hours beforehand, but yeah, where are you at the moment, Sky? Like what part of the marketplace? And what were you doing when the laser came?
So I think I'm scouting the abandoned factory, and I think I'm literally kind of holed up in another building across from this abandoned factory with kind of magnifying goggles, kind of like trying to get a kind of flicking through the different spectra, trying to get a look inside as much as I can of this place. And I think what we see is me recoiling and ripping these goggles off my face when suddenly kind of every spectrum they read in is kind of whited out by this laser that's beyond this factory building.
Yeah, let me add a few details so that's okay about this factory.
Sure.
It's essentially like a large warehouse, but like the front of the roof has caved in. So there's kind of like almost like a hole through the factory. You see that it used to be for a company called Gulsvig Arms. And you look through the spectrum, through most of the spectrums, there wasn't any things in the factory other than the usual stuff until you switch to the audio spectrum, and you can see there are kind of like these blobs of audio waves um popping around. And I think just as you switch that spectrum, that's when all this light came in, and that kind of blew out the specs. And I think then once kind of like the lasers dissipated, I think you see as well in the distance these like it's hard to see in the darkness of the almost perpetual night sky here in the city. Should probably give the city a name. I almost kind of want to give it the same name as the one we had for Neon Black, which is just Prime City. There we go. All these games are now set in Prime City. Yeah, I think you can see like just barely silhouetted, but because you have all these like spectrums in your binoculars, you can see like this trio of helicopters making their way towards the market. And again, it's kind of like that low. It's like the sounds of a helicopter, but kind of like slowed down. So it's just kind of like the. Whoop, 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 whoop. If folks have ever seen Apocalypse Now, it's the opening of that helicopter sound. Sadly, the doors aren't going to kick in. It's just going to be the helicopter sound. Yeah. What do you do, Sky? Just kind of see all this. Also, I will say that like, oh, good.
Oh, sorry, go on.
I just want to say like because you're in a cyberpunk feature, I'm sure you can call each other. It should be just probably.
How far is the factory from the epicenter of this blast?
I think not too far. In fact, actually, I'm thinking you're looking at the factory here, and the blast was just over here. So the factory is actually in between, kind of like you and the nightclub that got incinerated. Good.
Because I definitely don't want the corp to find out that there's the kind of forest trying to restart inside this abandoned factory. And so I think I'm going to try and run interference, which is probably a terrible idea with the corp. So I think I kind of just jog down the stairs and kind of move. I'm imagining there's kind of two crowds of people. That the people kind of running the hell away, and there's the people whose kind of curiosity is kind of like more than is good for them, who are kind of like edging closer. And I think I'm mingling with the people who are kind of edging closer and gawking and kind of just trying to blend in as much as I can with the crowd. I don't think my talking cube is out at the moment because then I wouldn't be doing much blending in.
Yeah. I'm gonna say that collectively, all the elementals. I know this was mostly quests, but I want to give you all tokens. I think all this elemental stuff, including Mother's Sleep, has definitely drawn the attention of the corp, so everyone can get a token for for that lure. Yeah, I think like you'll see in the crowd that like the helicopters dropping off these like sleek kind of like humanoid kind of like figures. They're like kind of like this weird almost kind of like velcro-ish motorcyclish kind of like black, except their heads are kind of crowned with these kind of like gold triangular plates where their face would be. I put a picture in the chat. Hold on, I could show that to the video. Give me a second. Stuff. Just so the video can see it. There we go. It's a beautiful, beautiful face boy there. So a bunch of them nearly ended the meeting instead of ending the share. Yeah, so a bunch of them are dropping off and the from like the helicopter. Quest, Sin has gotten off your shoulder forcibly. And it's kind of like suiting herself up and she kind of like says, don't try making a stand right now. There's enough attention as it is. Let's go. Get into the shadows.
I was planning on it. I was unlike some people. I don't piss off people more powerful than I am.
What's that? What? Well, you're on your own for that remark. And Sky is just literally gonna like slip into an alleyway that's like way narrower than you thought
That's
it
fine.
did.
I hadn't really expected Sin to help me with this,
Sin,
in all
yeah.
honesty.
Mm-hmm.
I did just kind of like orbital strike her club, so
Yeah, you did. Sorry, I'll move like quick vignettes. Euphoria, I think yeah, I think I'm not gonna shortchange you. I think the unless you want to pull a weak move or something, but I do think I mean, you call for an augment. I think it's gonna happen. What is the feeling when you kind of like come out of the techno magic ritual that the prophet's kind of like prepared for you? How are you feeling?
I think like there'll be, I think, remnants, right? These kind of hazy memories which are kind of trying to force their way into my mind, but there's like I'm taking a pill for that, to kind of push them down until they just die. And then when I do that, the kind of augment takes over, and like everything becomes kind of quiet. Like everything is every sound, like down to the heartbeats, is like very, I don't know, like sound mixed in my head, right? To be completely individual, and um, I can pick out everything without much thinking about it. So yeah, I think maybe when people are running away from the epicenter, they are of their own volition kind of avoiding the street that Euphoria is on. There's some kind of sense that they have that they are a predator right now, more than they might otherwise have an inkling of.
Yeah, I think the prophet kind of comes in though, because it's their space, and they're like, okay, it looks like it looks like it's settled. Listen, I'm closing up shop. Might want to abscond. Corpse coming.
Corpse always coming.
Mhm. Well, they're pulling out the big guns. You look like you can take care of yourself, but if you're gonna take care of yourself, could you do it not here?
I'll make sure your abode is out of the blast radius.
Yeah. And it kind of gives you like a motion to go. I think when you get out though, Euphoria, one of those like tall, they're like 9 foot tall, these humanoid kind of like figures. They look, I mean, they're built to look like, they've been lifting, so to speak. Hold on, let me close this. And I think like, yeah, the folks are like trying to like give them a wide berth, actually kind of like looking around, try to see if there's anything suspicious, and you're kind of like not right in their way, but you're close. Let's say. We'll wait quite quickly, then we'll come back to if we want to do something. But Mother Sleep. Um, yeah, that laser's probably not done good things to Sulad, but you look into that later. We'll put a pin on that. What are you up to as kind of like these helicopters are disgorging these
I've
corkback
got
machines?
more real stupid ideas.
Uh,
So what I'm do is I'm going to call Fear. And I'm a bit out of breath. It was quite exhausting to absorb that orbital strike. That was a big thing. So I'm gonna call Fear and say, hey, Fear, listen. Give me the name of the most deadly assassin you know that is not that isn't alive anymore. Real quick, need it.
I mean, I'm insulted. You called me
Yeah, but you're alive.
for the
I
name.
needed that one.
Am I? I mean, okay. Okay, okay. I'll give you a name.
Okay.
And And so, I mean, I'm not sure whether it fits, the description as dead, but someone whose consciousness has been uploaded into an android, right? I think we found out exactly who Helene is, the android that was once a human that Euphoria killed.
So that brings me to a difficult question, because I thought it would be a wonderful idea to allow a lost spirit to take over my body and fight the corp instead of myself.
Okay.
So we'll see if that works.
Well, I mean, if you
Yeah.
prefer to be possessed, then I can switch my answer, right?
Well, I think that is a wonderful, tricky, complicated answer you gave me.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes, right?
Yeah, I mean, maybe you can maybe someone Helene's consciousness can be downloaded from her current body and into yours, right? Who knows how these things work?
And I think at least her body died, so part of her has gone to Salad. So I can't access tiny bits and pieces of the pronouns. Oh yeah, she, her. Yeah, of her. But I think there is a drawback, and the drawback will be I come out of this situation like in real bad condition. Like my yeah. But I think
Yeah,
I'll
it's
manage to shoot or whatever to slash a couple of those corp agents.
yeah. I think when Helene kind of like takes over, I think part of it is as well. She took a bit of the android side, the more mechanical side of her. So it is kind of like autopilot. Use your ridiculous skills with a Z to take down a few discords. I think a corpse. I think like some of them had kind of been standing. It looks like they're about to deliver like a PSA or something. You can see kind of like the triangles kind of like reforming, and they're about to like display like some sort of holographic shape. But no, how is how does mother Helene as mother sleep kind of like take them out? And I know what the consequences are going to be since it's a weak move.
I think that is up to Donna to describe, because Helene is your character, and Helene takes over just my body basically. So I think the actions are more something Helene would do. So if you want to describe something.
Yeah, I wonder if Helene either was a part of the project, which was replaced by these kind of gold-faced muscle soldiers, or maybe was in a rival group, and so knows one of their kind of secret vulnerabilities, and that's maybe in the heart of these there is some kind of bound elemental, or maybe a ghost in these machines.
Mm-hmm.
And she knows that, or maybe she's always known this vulnerability, but now with your power, she has the ability to kind of uncouple those two halves of the thing. So like take out the kind of the genius inside that's making them so efficient, right? So like uncoupling them from their CPU.
Yeah, I think what happens when that happens, yeah, the elemental piece within them kind of goes haywire. So like when that happens, like, and this is gonna be weird to the people here, like leaves explode from within them. So the androids, the droids, the robots are about to say something, we are here to help, we are here to keep calm, and more to sleep comes in, uncouples the droids, and just kind of like explode, and like leaves burst out of their of their like faces, of their like bodies, so they're kind of like stuck as kind of like statues. And Sky, you can everyone else who's here can kind of like see this. I think the other three can definitely like will definitely see that's oh dear, that's Mother Sleep possessed by another like spirit. But I think yeah. Here's kind of like the consequence. Let me look at these moves. I've got a few of them. Yeah. I think like Mother Sleep, you uncouple the last kind of like um um robot corp bot, and as you hear kind of like in the back of your mind Celine, it's not Celine, Helene's voice kind of like say like, oh, that felt good. um but I think suddenly in a flash, suddenly the world around you kind of like explodes in light and kaleidoscopic shapes, much like the one that Adric did, but like very sudden. And to the other three, Mother Sleep's gone. as, as the flash disappears. If that's okay with folks. I know this is like probably more break. This is way more breakneck than I thought was happening, but you know, we'll get there. Yeah. So Mother Sleep will put you to the side for the moment and kind of like bring the other three together. I think like the helicopters had left after they disgorged their bots, but you know they'll probably be back since all these bots are full of leaves. But I'll give the other three like a chance to like catch up with each other if that's what if folks want that.
Can I have a reaction for Sky to seeing these leaves burst out of these bots? Because Sky now realizes the nature of the elementals that were bound to make these, and they're clearly of the forest. And this enrages Sky. And so I want to ask, how do I lose control in this moment?
Oh, the hits never end. Oh gosh. Oh man. I mean, if everyone has an idea, feel free to
I
answer
do.
that.
And I think we all know that like a huge part of a forestal ecosystem are insects. What about like a whole bunch of nanobots crawl from under whatever you're wearing, and you just lose like tiny bits of parts, maybe like half an arm dissolves into tiny nanobots that look like insects, maybe like ants. So there's like now a half actual ant, half like robot ant, like crawling all over the floor and attacking, doing whatever you want them to do.
I think they're taking apart the bodies of these robots so they could never be reintegrated with elementals. I think they are, you know, those leaf cutter ants that take kind of precise bites out of leaves. I think these nanobots are kind of taking equivalent things out of the robots and just carrying them off in all directions. And I think that this is my human form, the kind of the nanotechnology that makes up this human form of mine is actually kind of dissolving itself and being into these kind of semi-biological insects. And it looks like one of those time lapses from a nature documentary of a tree rotting, and you see these bodies just crumble, and I think I'm standing there with I think there's still a semblance of human form on me. I'm not quite in my true form, but my mouth is wide open, and you just hear kind of it's flicking between storms and forest fires and crashing waves, and it's just like this is the background sound to this.
Yeah.
So I'm super interested about something, because now that we have this ant colony theme, and they just like took apart those like what is somehow like an elemental energy, and then when they swarm back and bring all those energy into your body, like how does that show that you're now like got like extra energy that maybe you have grown, or I think there's some imagery that the audience can see that you now like absorbed some more.
I'm aware that this is a weak move, so I'm going to say that this energy is difficult to control. Whereas I could pass for human before, now I've got kind of miniature lightning strikes, kind of like bridging between my fingers and kind of arcing off my face, and my hair is kind of all standing up like it's in a Faraday cage, like not a Faraday cage, a Tesla coil, and I'm definitely not passing for human right now.
Yeah, that's very noticeable probably to Quest or to Euphoria, especially as these ants came
Or
about.
to the corpse that are actively hunting us at the moment.
Yeah, or everyone who's here in the market who just saw that. I'm gonna let Quest and / Euphoria react first, and then yeah, this is not gonna go unnoticed. Quest, what do you, how do you, there's guys right there. A lot of stuff has happened. You kind of kick things off with the whole laser thing, but now there was a swallowing of the laser, corp bots exploding in leaves. Now they've been taken apart by ants coming by insects, nano insects coming from sky. It's a lot going on.
So these corp bots, they're like totally destroyed now. They're
Yeah.
just like plants.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think I kind of hesitantly reach out towards Sky, and Sky, are you well?
And I whip round towards you, and speaking not through my cube but through my mouth, so it sounds like the grinding of glaciers against rock. I say, they enslaved my people. This cannot stand. And the lightning that's crackling in my skin intensifies slightly.
And we will seek justice for that. But the forest that burns itself does not live.
What do you know of forests? forest fires are times of glorious renewal, and and as if to illustrate this, I close my fist and kind of like flames, kind of small flames, kind of burst forth, lit by that will obviously be lit by the lightning.
So are the little gods that were in these machines still present?
Ooh. I think like the things that were present in them weren't necessarily little gods or like pieces of an elemental. But you can say if you're the one who interacts with little gods, if you say there are little gods and there are.
Yeah, because I can, as a weak move, invite the little gods to use my body for a time. And I think that I see that Sky is rageful, and if I'm to help them, I cannot be Quest. I must take the forest into myself and let it ride me. And I think that like as I speak to you and I was trying to impart this, I think plants and vines start to grow out from me, from my mouth and eyes. And the beads that run under my skin are spinning around rapidly. And oh, what do you think the little gods say to you? And this is a weak move, Sky, so feel free to like make this to do what you want with this.
Yeah, since it's a weak move, you can have the little god say exactly what you want to hear. Not exactly what Quest wanted to say.
Ooh. As a player, I don't want them to say exactly what Sky wants to hear. So I think they.
I mean, are they happy with you? I mean, you've returned now, but do they want you back?
I think they do want me back, but they can see that this is not a good long-term survival strategy. So they kind of look they look at me and say so you're leaving us again so soon in fire and flame and anger this time. And they turn away. They're disgusted with me for not having more control.
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask you what Euphoria is up to as this rather emotional tableau is happening.
I think I have been kind of looking at the crowd of like people who were initially like running from the carnage, to kind of see how they're weighing up, you know, the fear of the orbital laser and that destruction, and then these kind of corporate killing machines, and then like the horror of them being like destroyed in this really intense nanobot way. I'm just kind of soaking in those competing fears and, that are running through their veins, and maybe just trying to figure out where the balance is. You know, what are they more afraid of?
Yeah, it's tough because there's been a lot of whiplash, honestly. First was just the overwhelming fear of the laser, and then the dread of the corp coming in, and then Whiplash took almost kind of like wonder at the first the laser getting swallowed, and then the dread of the corp coming in, and then the sheer almost whimsy of them exploding in leaves, and then Whiplash back into horror as the nanobots break them in. It's a stew for you, Euphoria. It's like it's a very heady stew. I think there's a lot of uncertainty for sure, a lot of just like vulnerability, but almost a kind of like it's that kind of vulnerability where the crowd is almost kind of being dared to like, oh shit, this can happen to the corp. Weird magical bullshit can happen to them. Um, so like the crowd is like teetering in awe, I'd say. Um, um, Obviously, like there was also like the kaleidoscope display, but that happened for like an instant, and Mother Sleep is gone. Um, and yeah, I think to Euphoria, it is just um, it's it's a beautiful stew. Let's say. Is that an okay answer?
Yeah, perfect. I think I will kind of turn my back to Sky and Quest and kind of the braver souls who are still kind of sticking around for this. Um, I mean, I think like they know what they're seeing, and I'm gonna kind of nod to that. Like I'm gonna invite them to remember this, and maybe if they want, to invite them to get the power that will allow them to participate. So um, I I guess there's a move that I can gift Black Wings, right? That's one of my elemental magic powers. So
Yeah, I don't know if you can give that to a crowd.
well, no, but if there's someone who is like a lightning rod for that kind of feeling in the crowd.
Yeah.
But maybe I'll just put that there, and like it can happen down the line.
Yeah. Um, I have an idea for that. I think maybe through the crowd you can see Sin. Um, the two of you catch eyes. You can tell like I think she's kind of like the Quest and Sky are in between like the two of you. She's like on the other edge of the crowd, but she's kind of like looking at you with almost like expectant, I guess, kind of like eyes. I think like she was watching this way and it's kind of like, yeah, miss being able to do that.
Well, I mean, it's a different kind of power to what just did that. But I think if she's essentially no longer got the power of hers, then she might want to sign up for Team Aswan.
I mean, we're all rooting for Team Aswang.
Who
They
isn't?
don't. Yeah. They don't seem to have emotional problems. If they do, just slice them out.
Yeah. It's a feelings triage, right?
Yes. Yeah. We'll come to that in a moment. We're kind of nearing our second hour in your second break, but I think we're gonna to do before that. I think we're gonna have like a small taste of where Mother's Sleep is. Big kaleidoscopic display blinds you for a moment, Mother's Sleep, and when it fades away, you're lying in what looks like this rotted, abandoned factory. Um, there's a big hole in the roof. Um, there are like conveyor belts around you that like fall into disrepair, and in front of you, circling you, are these like um, five people who are kind of like they're all dressed differently. One of them's wearing a dress, one of them's wearing a suit, one of them has like overalls on, one of them has like this ridiculous leather jacket with like spikes on. and one of them looks like they're about to. One of them is wearing a wedding dress, but they all have shifting faceless faces, and they're kind of regarding you in combined curiosity, let's say. And we're gonna take our second break. Let's come back again in 10 minutes, and we'll wrap this session up and see where we go. BRB, folks. Okay, let's come back to Mother's Sleep. So yeah, as said, factory, these 5 faceless people just kind of like just surrounding you, watching you with kind of like curiosity. It's hard to tell because not only are the faces morphing, but the expressions are morphing as well. So anger, worry, excitement, all sorts flashing over their faces.
Since my vision still doesn't seem right, still feels blurry, even though I can't see straight, I think I'll rely on my never-ending wisdom. I'll just tap in whatever emotions, in whatever deeper layers of identity those people have. And I just need to know, because that is what this Antama is described as, that I can't connect to those. I need to find which
one is that? Access a specific memory, or
is that a strong move?
find the fragment of a secret. Yeah, it's a strong move. I know you've been doing out the weak moves left, right, and center the whole session.
Yeah. I'm spending a token and do exactly that because I want to know, not necessarily their names. I want to know who are they. Like have a brief idea about their agenda.
Tell me the idea about their agenda. They'll inform what they are, who or what they are.
So maybe I need help here from the others. But what was the core? I remember that Quest has been part of the original council, like of the corp, right? So what about those faceless are like also have been somehow cut off from the management, from whoever runs the corp now, and they needed to go into hiding, and now without their faces they feel they could start over and pursue their agendas, and maybe either reclaim or destroy and rebuild a totally different corp that is tailored specific to their like major goal. What do people think about it? Because I think Steven came up with the faces, right? I'm not really. Or was that you, Leandro?
I don't think I came up with the faceless.
Yeah, I think it was me. There's like that was from a vision
so
of who Adric was, like
who
got where they got the cubes from.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, so okay, yeah. Then I think it's like former board members or whatever their function was back then in the corp.
Yeah, I think like because there's a lot of them, especially since like there was like a whole dance floor of them. I don't think they're all like. I think they're not all CEO people for sure. I think definitely when you capture specific memory, I think you get like people kind of like being people in like really boring office environments. God, it's been a while since I've been in an office. Just realized that. People, random kind of like people being asked like, "Hey, the manager wants to speak to you." kind of like sort of thing, and it's all very banal and prosaic. Oh yeah, so here's some, here's some extra overtime that you got to do, but you get more money that way, etc. And they've signed contracts, and what these contracts are like, they're like they're getting like hooked up to kind of like this bespoke system that kind of lets this program use them at any point. Hence why one of them is in a wedding dress. Hence why one of them is just like in overalls and like tracksuits. Yeah, I didn't even think of that, Sky. But yes, literally faceless corporate drones.
Yes, that's perfect.
Yeah, so you
Like
just
that.
get like a smattering of those memories, and you kind of like get like who each of these people actually are, but like you get their actual faces, but you can't see them because their faces are being scrambled at the moment. So, God.
Oh wow! So there's somehow something that is between a rogue AI and like the consciousness, or like maybe the actual former corp guys. Okay, that is a whole different level here. I really like that. That makes it more weird cyberpunky. Okay. If that's okay for you, can I say that one of those guys, I just realized, or I just recognized their cybernetics, and can I bring in a Nikolai Silva?
Yep.
Like, okay, because I think
Absolutely.
that is an interesting person, because he was part of the immortality program, the corporate, and he was one of those who got away. And that is not because he now is free, but because he now is part of the Faceless. And I really need to get him out of whatever is controlling him. I need to get Nikolai back. I think I just realized that, and I tap out of whatever memories I access to, and at first I tried to rip off whatever augmentation I can see, and that clearly doesn't work. So I need
I just realized you played into one of the corpse lures. You uncovered one of its secrets, so take a token.
Oh, nice. The token economy is so much better than in the first edition. I really like it. I just made loads of tokens each session. How can I?
Yeah, what do you do once you kind of realize one of them is like, yeah, your friend, Nikolai, who's probably dressed casual, was probably just hanging out at home, didn't expect to be pulled into this nonsense. Oh, poor dear.
I want. Yeah, I think I need.
What do you need?
For as long as the person remains stable, I need to get him out of this place. I need to get him somewhere safe, and I need. Maybe I need Sky here to help us out, because skies, they are all about rebirth and whatever, and growth and stuff, and if there's any person I know to help, it should be Sky. So I'll
Sky, who unbeknownst to Mother Sleep is going through it at the moment. You can tell me what you can.
I just
You're,
I think
okay.
Okay. I want to go because I really liked it that I can have portals and stuff like that. So I just grab Nikolai, jump into Sulat, and then try to find a way from Sulat back to our haven.
Okay. Yeah, tell me whether that's a strong or weak move, because there has to be, there's going to be consequences, or you do it and it's good.
I think I'll this is so important to me that I use all my power, and I think it's I'm using my elemental magic with haunting accuracy,
Yes.
so that I don't end up somewhere else, maybe on the moon or whatnot, because Sulat is like connected to everything, not just to this world.
Oh yeah.
And where do we find Sky?
Yeah, we can say like we can move the folks who are like being gawked at by a crowd. We can move them to somewhere more private, Quest and Sky and Euphoria. Maybe like Sin directs folks like, all right, disperse. She sends like her goons like disperse the crowd, gathering kind of like back to like leaving, I guess, because Corp has just kind of like Corp property still there, so she's gotten the crowd to disperse and maybe kind of like maybe set up the three of you somewhere more private, if that's okay, unless folks have other ideas. Probably kind of like a private room atop a. My mind went to tavern. No, there cannot be a tavern above a bar. Near like uh, near the edge of like where the market is. If that's okay with folks. Okay. Yeah. So let's say private room. The couches are uncomfortably leathery. The kind of leather couches that you feel like you're just gonna sink in too wide, too wide, too much. There's a nice drinks cabinet. There's a lovely view of the city. As kind of like, I think the three of you can see that like vans have like come in to like reclaim the whatever is left of the corp bots, because most of it got disintegrated. But the corp decided, yeah, let's be more subtle about this instead of dropping shock troopers from the sky. Um, and then what does it look like when Mother Sleep portals in? Is it just a portal? Uh, pop out of
No,
nowhere?
I think it's not like out of nowhere. I think it's like a round sphere that just keeps getting bigger and bigger until I can step through. So if anyone has seen Dark, I just think of like how in Dark they do this black matter thing, like the German show they have on Netflix. And I step out of this like big black ball, and I'm dragging Nikolai behind me. And I imagine that that did something to him, but he's immortal, so he will have survived, but it might be like real unstable.
And we can say, oh, good. Sorry.
And we can see that this task was like super exhausting, and in like this more like sad version, it sort of does look like Mother Sleep is crying, but it's not stopping. It's not just like tears falling down from her cheek or something like that. It's like her whole appearance seems to like her whole body would be out of water. Like there's drops just like left behind her wherever she's going, like drops of black and blue color staining the floor. And it's just the imagery that we see, that her magic abilities are just like exhausted, and she can't keep it together.
Can I retroactively step back a bit and kind of ask, what is the mood of the other three as they're kind of like waiting until right before Mother Sleep ports in? How's everyone else feeling?
So I think Sky is distraught at being kind of snubbed by the forest. So I think you're going to find Sky sitting on the floor, avoiding the sofas, and also crying. And you can see that that Sky's tears kind of cut channels in the floor, like they're kind of, each tear is kind of 50 years worth of erosion.
Jesus Christ. What about before your quest? Oh,
I think there's a scratching in the back of Euphoria's mind to say to them that, you know, hey, this is an opportunity for you to talk about loss, but it doesn't quite come to the surface of their thoughts. I think she takes the last couple of those pills she got from the prophet, washes them down with some whiskey or whatever the liquor here is, and I think that kind of finally kind of destroys the memory of she who will not be named. And yeah, just looking out at the city, maybe looking at the corp cleanup teams gather up those kind of few dozen gold triangles that are all that's left of the killbots.
Yeah, and how do we find Quest? I guess Quest is pensive and a little bit like wants to head out, wants to do stuff, but clearly things are not coming together right now. I think that interface is like kind of ruffling like unhappily against my body, a bit like, and it looks a bit like my dress is being tossed in the wind, in a bad wind.
cool. Well, not cool, sad, but cool. And then Mother Sleep comes in this big sphere, exhausted, crying, having dragged another person who I think like the last bits of that facelessness is just kind of like being erased in the journey through Sulad. Um, and it's kind of like fallen unconscious. They both land and like on the small coffee table in the middle of this room in a heap. Um, yeah, so that happens.
And I'm like, all I care about right now is Nikolai. So I just drop him to the feet of Sky, and then grab whatever I can get hold of them, and start begging. You need to help him, please. The corp, I don't know, they've overridden his consciousness or something. He's a mere puppet of himself. But you need to help him. He was one of the Immortal Protocol prototypes. That means they injected him with energy, and with the drones we've seen earlier, I think they used your forest elemental energy on him as well. So maybe you can help him. You can, right?
Yeah, I think that Quest lays down and places her hands down upon Nikolai and makes a prayer to the little gods of the area, whatever life and health still lurks in this city, to fill Nikolai with their spirit. And I am using my elemental magic with unwavering faith. And I am performing miracles. I'm reaching out to the little gods in the area and praying for a miracle. And I think I'm going to choose that new gods will awaken and demand worship. who do people think, or or do we think it's it's those plant spirits that we dealt with earlier, in fact, that like as they awaken to my presence, they also demand worship now. And I think we see like the sprouts and tendrils like kind of grow out of Nikolai as they heal him, but they also demand like a worship or boon from us as in exchange. And I think that I look up then at Sky, and I say, the spirits are willing to help him, but I do not speak the language of plants and growing things. I speak the language of fires. What do we have? What do they want from us, Sky?
And I think I don't say anything at all, but I think I'm kind of chastened into like that I've been have been quite self-indulgent here, kind of like focusing on my own grief rather than kind of moving to fulfill my purpose. So I feel like a gesture of trust and faith is needed here. So you see my human form dissolve, and I'm this sleek robot of wood and flowers, and you see it moving a little like a kind of more organic Rubik's Cube, and kind of like parts shifting over other parts. And in a series of movements that look like they shouldn't be possible in 3 dimensions, a small box emerges to the surface and unlatches, and in this box is a seed suspended in a glowing field, and this is one of the 5 unique rare seeds that I found to reinvigorate dying forest. And I think my human form resolves again, and I'm just holding this box, and I hold it out to these spirits, and I'm entrusting this seed to them rather than keeping control of it myself.
Yeah, and I think these plant spirits, when you kind of like offer it to them, you get the sense that like they're not the old world coming back. They're of this time, of this place. They're not the I mean, yes, there's obviously a lineage because all things stem from other things. Not they're not completely new, but they are like of this time. They are what this time imagines plants to be, what this kind of life is that has tried to take root. Um, and they accept the seed and they're thrilled, they're excited, not in like in a not in like that, oh this is how we take over the world kind of excited, but more in that, oh, this is how we can grow kind of excited. um and I think like that excitement filters into Nikolai, and it kind of like washes away. I think the last bits are like shifting are like around his eyes, but the spirits wash away that confusion. um and he takes a deep breath and kind of like stabilizes. Long breath out, and he kind of like sags unconscious on the coffee table. um, um and yeah, I think he's grand. um I want to ask Euphoria if you saw all this, or you have your back turned to this, was just looking out the window.
I mean, I think when Mother Sleep, portals in, I probably want to pay attention to that. Right? So I'm not I'm not just looking out through the rain splattered window and sulking or being moody.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past you. Well, I said like I wouldn't judge you if you were.
How did my fear of losing him taste? I imagine that was something, an afraid elemental, a worried elemental, a fearsome elemental. That is something rare, right?
I think it's surprising, right? Because I imagine, or maybe Euphoria imagines that Mother Sleep doesn't view death as the end, and an immortal person is kind of maybe an unnatural thing to exist. So I'm surprised that you were so afraid that Nikolai could die. And I think that piques my interest. Right? And I mean, being interested in something is no curse, right?
I'm kind of like we're kind of like probably gonna do this like whole scene in the room as kind of like the closing of the session. So if there's any like stuff you wanna, and we don't have like follow on immediately from this. Like if there's like any small moments or conversations you'll want to have with each other in this space, kind of like now is kind of like the time. But obviously we'll have space next week as well if need be.
I have a small idea that I want to get out real quick, and I think since we're all elementals, there is just like a deeper understanding than just humans could be. So like, I feel that I would know that fear had feasted upon my emotions, and that was only possible because we're like deeply connected with each other. So like there isn't like something like a very individualistic elemental that is hardly possible, and if it's possible, it's maybe Quest. But so I'll just go to fear and say, I felt your confusion, and as I've always been telling all of you, it's not death that should be feared, but it's if there is a technology that could override your consciousness, that could just use you as a mere puppet, as a shell, that is the end of what a person would be. And that is something we all should fear, more than death, at least.
Imagine the depths of despair that would prompt someone to erase a part of themselves.
But what it's been done, to those people, what they can't, if they have no control, I can't, and I won't believe that Nikolai was willingly part of it. This has been brought upon him, and that is something that worries me beyond anything I've ever worried about. And I can't bear the feeling I have to endure right now, because what they did to him is what they want to do to us. That's why they were here earlier.
I mean, we are all prisoners of our past selves, Mother Sleep. Every decision we've made till now traps us.
So there's no escape.
Well, I think perhaps there is an escape, but Maybe that's what your friend Nikolai saw, an escape. If he can forget what was once him, he is free to make his own decisions.
No, I don't think I can believe that. No, not Nikolai. No, that is unlike him. I know. That is just something you try to tell me, to try to make me believe.
Well, let me look at it through a darker lens then. Did Nikolai consent to be subsumed into this elemental? Did you make the decision for him like the core, like you declare the core did?
I don't. I I would know that if I tapped into my powers, if I connected to our ancestors. But that's something I'm afraid of. I do not want to find this answer. I do not want to know. Because I'm too afraid for any kind of answer, no matter what answer I'll get from it. Would you? Would you really want to know the answer?
Well, fortunately, I can't look at myself in the mirror, but you have to decide what lies you're willing to believe, even if they're from yourself.
Sometimes I think that we should go easier ways. And for this past month, I was so focused on just wrecking Hayrock, just bringing the corp down any means. And I think that's my solution for now. That's all I want to think about from here on. I think I'm gonna choose an easy way out. I think that I'll find a way to attack, and then afterwards I'll think about all the rest.
It's pretty tempting.
Right? That is a way I learned from you.
I'm so proud.
I think we'll cut that scene there. God, wow, that's soul destroying. Let's see, we've got some time. I need like maybe some parting shots, especially from Sky Quest. As we kind of close out here in this cramped private room.
I think
Seeing all that.
Sky is listening in to that conversation, and you can tell mostly listening to Euphoria's side of it, and is just looking out of the window, pacing slightly, and like fretting restlessly because they're getting hints of what they might have done last time.
Yeah. And I think that as you're listening in, I think Quest probably approaches without you noticing and says, there is a place for you in this world. Whether you believe that or not, Sky.
And I think I don't think I can trust myself to say anything, so I just kind of put my hand on your shoulder companionably.
I think then we'll end with maybe like, yeah, you're looking out the window. There's music playing for like a radio. Maybe it's Mother Sleep's like singer friend, um, playing. You know, it's like whatever the equivalent of post punk in this universe is. And we kind of zoom away from the window, and we see that there's someone in the street looking straight at the window. This figure with like long pink hair and a mask and a face mask. Um, Hands in their pockets, just kind of looking as if they know exactly who they're looking at the window. Um, and then they walk into the crowd, and we'll close that session there. Cool. So my thought is like, I know there's like, you know, campaign stuff, but because there's only one session, I don't think we need to feed those tokens in. I think like where we'll set up next session is kind of like, you have all the narrative agency, spend those tokens, kind of session since our final one. But yeah, I'm gonna stop recording. But again, to anyone who's watching, you know, if you want to check out the Gauntlet, there's this links in the description. Want to check out Jamie's work, links in the description. I want to again, as always, shout out these players who are just brimming of the good stuff, I guess. That's a terrible way to say it, but no, just absolutely inventive and wonderful folks. You'll find more of that kind of players in the Gauntlet. So yeah, I'm gonna stop recording. Bye bye, YouTube, and anywhere else where folks are listening to this. Bye bye.